I've been told by people close to that situation that he likes to find analogs to that Bucks team that he was an assistant coach on when they won the championship. And his analog with Taurean Prince is Chris Middleton.
Taller than everybody, wingspan, skill set. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Following up from some of the talking points that we saw in the post-game and kind of obviously this isn't the exit interviews at least, but like at least fresh in their minds. Lakers season gone wrong and what's next for LeBron and Darvin Ham. Starts off really, really spicy. Midway through the fourth quarter of a road game against the rival Los Angeles Clippers on February 28th, with the Los Angeles Lakers having cut a lead that was once as much as 21 points in the fourth quarter, down 5. A question arose within the team's player-led huddle. Why are we running plays to have LeBron attack a former Defensive Player of the Year in Kawhi Leonard if the Clippers are willing to switch big man Daniel Tice onto him in screening action? Now let's pause for a second. He alluded to that in the podcast. I want to say this as well. I cannot reiterate this enough. The qualms about Darvin Ham is not new. This is not something that just arose. This is something that has been going on all season long. So it frustrates me when people try to write this off as, oh, we're just finding an excuse for us losing to potentially the best team in the NBA. Like, that's not what it is. The answer, provided by multiple players whom team sources say spoke up in the huddle, will provide the key to that night's comeback in those final 5 minutes plus. And I also remember that game as well. LeBron gave great defensive effort, but it was obvious. And it's not like this is something that is also like unique to the Lakers. The Clippers, as we all know, they switch heavy everyone. It's going to be interesting to continue to like watch the podcast moving forward because LeBron, and it's not just LeBron, AD, D'Lo have been hinting at things that I think as time will continue to progress, point directly to Darvin Ham. Anthony Davis would set the high screen to prompt the switch with D'Lo as the high man and Rui in the strong side corner. If a double team came James's way, Russell would flash across the lane and open up a potential dunk for Davis or a three-pointer for Hachimura in the corner. The plan worked to near perfection, with Tice taking over for Leonard 6 times down the stretch and James picking the opposition apart for the Lakers to finish the game on a 15-6 run, 116-112. That game, very pivotal, really encaptured like what exactly was going on. But it's also very telling that this is a question that prompted not only in this huddle, but specifically a team's player-led huddle. That it is interesting that we were in February 28th, post-trade deadline, and these questions are arising amongst players, not the coaches who are watching the game live, who have the responsibility of asking these questions and presenting resolutions to certain concerns that may be on the floor. They continue to go on to talk about during the fourth quarter stretch, and James scored or assisted on 11 of the Lakers' 13 field goals. You know, this kind of goes on to that. The second thing, though, that was also brought up in this, they lost 10 out of the 13 games after the in-season tournament, with 2 4-game losing streaks during that stretch, and lost to teams such as the San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls, Memphis Grizzlies, and the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler, that they would later pay so dearly for in the standings. The disconnect between Ham and his locker room was detailed by The Athletic in early January report. The ownership support that he spoke openly about at the time played at pivotal parts in the organization choice to continue with him on the bench. This is when they make the decision on certain players coming off the bench or not. But this is the other part that we kind of just spoke about as well. The Lakers were largely healthy during that stretch. Only Russell, 4 games, and Gabe Vincent, 12 games, missed a noticeable time from their former rotations. Outside of that period, the team went 44-25, a 52 win pace, which is also very pivotal. If the Lakers had won a few more of those games during that stretch, they would have finished with at least 6th in the Western Conference, which would have kept them out of the play-in tournament and from facing Denver in the first round. During that 13-game skid, the Lakers used 6 starting lineups, including 2 variations of lineups, all wing. James, Davis, Prince, Vanderbilt, and either Cam or Rui. And to Darvin, I'm gonna read that again for him. I'm gonna get it real nice and close for you, because boy, you's a fucking idiot, boy. During the 13-game skid, the Lakers used 6 starting lineups. How do you have 6 different lineups in a 13-game stretch? You blame health, But if James is healthy, if Davis is healthy, if Prince is healthy, if Vanderbilt's healthy, and if Cam is healthy, and Rui is healthy, and we know that Reeves played all 82 games, and we also know that D'Lo was healthy as well, because as it continued, for 5 games, the team went 2-3. The decision to bench both Reeves and Russell, so you bench both of them, so they were both available. For a 13-game stretch, you ran 6 different lineups when everyone was healthy. That is the reason why the health argument is a bad one. All the niggas that were available to play, they played. I genuinely believe this to be the case. My nigga, if Cam Reddish was available to play down the stretch of this year, you still probably would have played him. I truly believe that the only reason why we stopped playing Cam because he was no longer available to play. Because you decided to put Cam Reddish into the starting lineup and gave us 6 different starting lineups when your 5 to 7 best players were all available. The team's consensus, third and fourth best players, did not sit well with many in the organization and locker room. That makes sense. When I tell you guys, when I get really animated about certain things, when Darvin begged for Prince not to be traded, and I went to the whole spew about how the nigga was on his knees begging. I get depictive about it because I know. I went to these stretch of games before this article dropped because I knew already. I know what this nigga did. This nigga was fighting to keep giving this nigga Prince minutes. Fighting for his life. And he basically had an ultimatum. Either we trade this nigga or you bench this nigga. Because you were willing to bench both Reeves and D'Lo, who everyone in this organization believes is the 3rd and 4th best player on the team. And that's why, even in games where it actually made sense, he didn't have the wiggle room to start him anymore. He fought for that nigga to be on the team. So much so that he was willing to put Reeves and D'Angelo Russell on the bench. So when I tell you this nigga get off your knees, nigga, it's because I know what you did. It's why I knew to go to this stretch of the year. It's why LeBron was alluding to that game, Kawhi Leonard switching and why are we attacking a great play. It's why niggas speak the way that they speak. Ham's decision was viewed as a panic move that backfired, to say the least. LeBron, age 39, was effectively the point guard at one point in this season when we had 2 of them motherfuckers on the roster. Not 1, but 2 of those niggas on the roster. The buzzword for the Lakers offseason and training camp was continuity. The Lakers believe their supporting cast around James and Davis, specifically Reeves, Russell, Hachimura, and Vanderbilt, complemented the stars and one another well. All 4 players were in their mid to late 20s and under contracts for at least an additional season. The plan was for the Lakers core to be those 6 players plus Gabe Vincent. Has that not been what I've been saying? 4 of the 5 starting spots were cemented. Russell, Reeves, James, and Davis. The 5th spot was going to be decided in training camp with Vanderbilt, the incumbent starter entering the 2023 postseason, the front runner to retain his starting spot, but things went awry, obviously, when Vanderbilt suffered his heel injury, That led Ham and the coaching staff starting Prince, who had been signed to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract as a 3-and-D wing. Ooh, boy, they throw around that phrase pretty loosely. And was viewed as the likely 8th or 9th man. Prince inadvertently became the avatar for the Lakers' issues, as his outsized role often came at the expense of the core players, led to smaller lineups, which performed worse statistically. The Lakers were just 24-25 when Prince as a starter and 28-8 in the 36 games he played fewer than 25 minutes. There was a sense amongst players within the organization that Prince and Reddish, a 24-year-old minimum contract signing, were given opportunities to fail and play through their mistakes during the regular season, a luxury that Reeves, Russell, Hachimura, and others weren't afforded. The confusion towards Ham's rotations even included his decision to split the minutes between Vincent and February's post-buyout Spencer Dinwiddie in the final weeks of the regular season and playoffs. This broke the rhythm of Dinwiddie as the primary backup guard, as he shot 39.7% from three-point range and was amongst the team's plus-minus leader after joining. The questions and concerns that we all had throughout the entire year is something that we've been talking about, again, for the entire year. And this is not something that any of us were concerned about, or we sat here and act as if like he did or did not do. It's not anything questioning. This article backs up everything that we stated. Again, I get it. Many people want to act as if like we're shooting him bail and we're trying to make excuses for him. But the truth of the matter is we're just talking in actuality and what we know for a fact about this man. And it's been consistent from start to finish. And these have nothing to do with injuries. It has nothing to do with continuity. It has nothing to do with, a player was hot or cold and they were going through a stretch. This has everything to do with coaching. This is decisions from a coaching. Again, I'm gonna be clear. Hey, if you don't believe that I know enough about basketball because I don't know schemes and Darvin Ham is a better schemer than me, he watches more film than me, fine. But the concept of just rotations, the concept of lineups, the concepts of who you're giving more leeway to versus someone else is something that is so easy to identify. I don't need to be a 5-year veteran in the NBA or have a 10-year career in the NBA with another 7 years of coaching. I don't need that. Part of me wants to I don't want to shit on him too much because he was put in a position that he should not have been put in. Prince did not deserve a starting position where he's playing over 30 minutes a game. He didn't deserve that. And he never received that at any point in his career outside of times in which he was being coached by Darvin Ham in Atlanta. I think that probably management was like, all right, we have a spot or two. Who are you thinking? Because in their mind, they're like, we just need 8 men. And then here comes, we can get Prince. Okay, cool. When they signed Reddish and Prince, it was with the understanding of he's coming off the bench. He's not starting. I do think the team has enough talent to where some of these players on this team should be given a much longer leash and more responsibility, especially because some of these players are probably going to be better for what the Lakers need long term, such as, like Real Talk said, Max Christie. I've been saying over and over again, Jackson Hayes, he has glimpses of really, really good play. A lot of it's just not stable from those two players because they don't get the reps and they make mistakes that you would expect from someone who doesn't have the reps and just young. They make those type of mistakes. And unlike Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince, who have the leeway to just be terrible and go out there the very next day and start confidently. They didn't get that same luxury. And when they were thrown out there, it felt confusing. It was terrible.